morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Irene Musembi. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This day, I have Counsellor Naomi with me. We are doing an interview. We are going to handle a very critical topic about mental health among the teens, the so-called Generation Z. Yes, the Gen Z. And she'll highlight, I know she's a parent, so she'll also talk to us how can parents come in, especially on the issue of mental health. Myself, I've handled some cases, and I realize mostly parents are not able to handle mental health in their children. So today I want to demystify the mental health. As we were growing up, ourselves, we thought mental health is for adults. Yeah. So welcome, Naomi, and I welcome all of you. You can introduce yourself, then we take on from there.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Irene, for having me in your channel. I am honored. My name is Naomi. I'm a counseling psychologist. I'm also an advocate against domestic violence. I work with families, couples, individuals, and anyone who is a member of a family is someone that I work with. First, to enhance the relationships in our families and to enhance our mental well-being as individuals, as couples, and even in the society, because all these people in the society, whether it's in the workplace, in business, in church, we all come from a family. And so if we enhance our relationships within the family setup and we address the issues of mental health within the family setup, then what we are saying is that we are going to release to the world people who are mentally healthy. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to the discussion.
Wow,
yes.
Welcome. And let me ask you, what made you decide to be a counselor? Because you've been meeting in professional arena, only to realize later you're a counselor.
Yeah.
What drove you to that direction?
I would say it's more of a calling and a passion. Before I did psychology, people would come with various issues, they just want help. And then they would give me feedback later and tell me what you told me was very, very helpful.
Wow.
And again, I like to see people thrive. Actually, my mission is to empower and inspire people to thrive.
Right.
So if someone has any kind of an issue, I like to see them, thrive and come out of that issue. So what I did is to go to school and study psychology. And when I studied psychology, I realized that this is actually the thing I've been looking for all my life. And even how I studied psychology is by the grace of God. Someone just introduced psychology to me, and I had never even heard of that word. But when I heard it, I just felt and lived in my spirit like this is what I've been looking for. So out of the passion, the talent that God has given me, I enhanced it with skills to be able to help people. But why families? Because I also realized that most of the mental health issues actually come from families. They come from families. You realize that most people get married without any sort of preparation. And people say that there is no book for marriage. Marriage is the only institution that you get a certificate before you study, which is actually not true. You can prepare yourself for marriage such that by the time you're getting that certificate, you have qualified for it. You have knowledge for it. So that's why we do premarital counseling. And people also get children. Most people get children when they are not prepared.
Yes.
And that is something that many people live with shame, with guilt, and people also expect that you will arise into motherhood, into fatherhood. In African culture, children are a blessing. In fact, they come with their own plate.
Yes. Yes.
So you find that someone was not prepared at all to parent a child, but here they are. They have 2, 3, 4 children, and now they don't even know how to handle them. That's where mental health issues now come in. So I realized that there's a lot of help that families need in order to understand how do they work out the relationship between the father-mother, because in a family there are different subsets. There is a subset of the parents, the father and the mother, the subset of the children, the subset of the father-children, mother-children, all that. So if the first subset is not working, the others will also have a problem. And that is not something that we are taught even in antenatal or anywhere. Yeah. And then other people are parents, they are parenting single.
Yes.
And it does not mean that they don't have mental health issues. Neither does it mean that they cannot live a healthy life. So with empowerment and the knowledge, then they are able to live a healthy life. So I have a passion to heal families. Because families they need a lot of healing. If you listen around, and even research shows like over 70% of all mental health cases actually come from families. So if you heal families, you have healed the society.
Wow.
So I have a real passion to heal families. Yeah, and it's something that even God has confirmed that it's a calling He has put in me and a grace for healing in families.
Wow,
Yes.
wow. Congratulations
Thank
for
you.
that.
Thank you.
Now let's go straight to our topic.
Yes.
Mental health among teenagers.
Yes.
What is it all about?
Teenagehood is a very interesting stage.
Yes.
It is a stage that is not understood by the teen themselves and the parents themselves.
Yes.
It is the stage between childhood and adulthood. So the teen wako katikati.
Yeah.
So this teen is neither a child nor an adult.
Yeah.
Themselves, actually I had a teen tell me, now she is 21, but we were just discussing with her and she was telling me that teenagehood is very hard. Even for me it was very hard. Yeah. And so we need first to understand that these teens themselves, they don't understand themselves. Today they wake up feeling like a child. Tomorrow they wake up feeling like an adult. They want to go out. They actually want to go for a sleepover. They're feeling they are now an adult. Then tomorrow you give them household chores and they're like they're children. They are not.
I like that. It happens also too in my family.
Yes. Actually, the thing I'm telling you about is my own daughter. And we were just discussing the other day with her. She was like, do you know how it is so hard to be a teen? Yeah? Your moods are changing daily
Every day.
because now the hormones are, now adjusting. So you're also not understanding yourself. By the time the children are getting into teenage, usually the parent is getting into midlife crisis. You see, so the parent is also in struggling in a state of mental distress. If, for example, the midlife crisis, they're feeling that I have missed so much in life, I have not achieved, because this at age 40 is there, and the parents is like, oh my goodness, I'm about to retire. I wasted my life. Or feeling like I took the wrong career, I want to do a career change. So you can imagine there's a lot happening in that family. And then at the same time, the parent is feeling, when nimekulea, you are now a big
guy,
you are big girl or boy.
Yes.
So you are being expected to do so much that you are not able to do. And that is where now conflicts come in. So the parent could be depressed, let's start from there, or having financial struggles. This is the time maybe you're feeling I need to build a house for my family, I'm looking for promotion.
I want to settle.
Yeah. So you are having a lot of issues that mentally they're weighing you down as a parent. Yeah, and you find at this stage most parents may drop the children in terms of I have brought you up.
Okay.
So they don't even have time to listen to the struggles that the children are going through. This child at this time, they could be having issues to do with even the school curriculum. Yeah, they could be struggling in school. They are struggling with the opposite sex attraction, and no one has maybe guided them on how to go about it. You see, they're also struggling with moods. They also don't understand themselves.
Yes.
If it is the girl, they have started their menses.
Yeah.
Has anyone prepared them to understand what does it mean? How do you go about it? Some girls start their first periods without any idea at all, and they see blood and they're wondering what is happening.
And they're scared.
To me, they're scared.
Yes.
You see, they don't know what is happening. All these things, the lack of preparation causes the mental distress. You see, the fact that now the hormones, this is the time now the hormones are beginning to take shape, the voice is breaking. These adjustments do not happen smoothly because of lack of preparation. Like the child should already have known at this age your voice may break. So if it is a boy, they wake up one morning and they are speaking in a different tone and they're like, what is happening to me? You see, they don't understand. Yeah. and they're growing the shoulders, you know, the breasts, you know, for the girls.
Yes.
And someone may be going through even inner shame. Others have breasts you don't have, or yours are too big, others they are too small.
Yeah, too small.
So you are already feeling isolated. You're already struggling with the shame, and now your parent is so busy out there with career, so you are left with no one to talk to.
And
So-
pause there.
Yes.
Let me ask you.
Yeah.
I handle teenagers, and there's something I've always heard from them. Do you know they confide with me, but
Yes.
not their parents?
Exactly.
And sometimes they tell me,
Yeah.
don't tell mom or dad, teacher.
Yes.
They call me teacher Irene. Don't
Yes.
tell mom or dad. Or sometimes they tell me,
Yes.
you know what, teacher? We can easily talk to our friends about our issues, but not our parents. Handle that.
Yeah, thank you very much. That is where the disconnect is, and thank you for bringing it up. When we are bringing up our children as parents, it is important to create a safe space for your children.
Yes.
That you are the safest place for your children. They can come and talk to you about anything. That even when they try out alcohol out there, they'll come and tell you, I went out with my friends, and this is what they gave me, but I didn't like it.
Wow.
You see? But how many parents are willing to listen?
Sure.
How many parents are willing to listen? As parents, we must forge that relationship with our children. Yeah? And the problem mainly is communication and the interrelationships within the family.
Yes.
Such that, you know, there are three needs for the children. There's the safety, there's the security, mainly two, safety and security. And this is by one, you not being a threat to your children. And number two, you being the safe space that your children can talk to about anything.
Wow.
So we all know that a relationship grows. A relationship is enhanced. If you don't nurture a relationship, it's like a garden.
Yes.
The weeds will just come in and you not reap the fruit.
Yeah.
But if you tender the garden, and tendering the garden is a process. It's not a one-time thing.
Sure.
You don't plant the seed and go. You plant, you water every day. When the weeds come, you remove, you spray where you need to spray. You do everything. Yeah. So that's what we need to be doing from the time the children are small.
Wow.
For example, sex education starts at 2 years
Yes.
for children when you're bathing your child. But I won't talk about where now the disconnect comes in. That we leave our children with the nannies for such a long time that they don't develop a relationship with us.
Yes.
And it is the parents to nurture that relationship.
Yes.
We always say that your schedule should fit into your children's lives. It's not your children to fit in your schedule.
Okay.
Yeah. So when you continue, we were talking about the sex education starting at 2 years. So you start telling your child, these are all private parts. Nobody should touch you. If anybody touches you, you come and tell them, like that. When they go to school, find out who are their friends, how are friendships going on in school. Every day, if you spend every day 20 minutes with your child,
20 minutes
20
only.
minutes only, and this is something myself
Wow.
I have practiced. Just 20 minutes only.
Yes.
I'm telling you, create such a good relationship with your children every day. Don't ask them how was school, because they'll say it was good. Find out the activities that took place. Who are the friends for your children? How are they relating with the teachers, with other workers, people in the estate? What's really going on in the
their
world
lives.
of your child? Enter into their world.
Wow.
But usually as adults, we are too busy. We are like, if a pencil got lost, that's a very small issue.
I'll go and buy it.
And yes, but you have not entered into the world of that child so that you understand what went on. Yeah, during that whole period, during the whole day, the whole term,
Activities, yeah.
the whole year. So that now, by the time, so children know, they start realizing that actually mom is a friend, dad is a friend. I can tell them about anything. Another thing is that when children make a mistake, what do we do as parents? We punish instead of discipline.
Yes.
Yeah, instead of disciplining them, we punish them. So, for example, if a child lost a pencil or something in school, or maybe they came home with something that is not theirs, what do? You when they tell you the truth, you punish them.
Punish them.
And then you teach them that saying the truth will cause you to be punished. So you teach them to lie. You actually, I always say parents are the ones who teach their children to lie.
Because you don't want to hear the truth.
The truth. What? Let the child tell you the truth. That
Sure.
actually, this thing is not mine. This book is for my friend. Then you guide from there. You say, our values as this family, we don't take things that are not ours.
Yes.
So tomorrow you go and return this book. So you have told that child that no matter how bad the truth is, it is acceptable.
It is acceptable.
Yes, and we can correct this.
Yes.
You see. But by the time you're talking to that child and even asking, tell them what happened, tell me what happened, you're already so angry. They look at you, they're like, I can't say the truth, I'm going to be killed.
I'll be killed. So
they learn to lie.
That's how, even as they get into teenage, they cannot confide with their parents.
We are coming there, yes.
Wow.
Yes, that is the thing. Because now you have taught them that first and foremost, if I do something wrong, the anger I see in my mom or in my dad, why? So they decide no. If they do anything wrong, they can't tell you because they see the anger in your face, you know. And this is where something we call emotional regulation comes in. That you must be so emotionally regulated yourself, so that you help the child to be emotionally regulated. So you teach them first to lie. You also teach them that you are not a safe space, that you cannot come and tell me anything. You are only a good boy or a good girl when you have good grades and when you are doing the right things.
Yes.
If you make any mistake, I'm not the person that you come to as your parent, you see. So what do they do when they make mistakes? They come to Teacher Irene.
Yes.
Because Teacher Irene will not judge them,
Yes.
and will not understand them. You see. So that is where now the disconnect comes in. That they cannot confide in the parent because they will be punished, they will be judged, they will not be listened to. Yeah, because many parents will say, staki kusikia, nimesema, you do ABCD. So you have not listened to the child.
Yeah.
And that is something that we need to learn to do as parents. Because maybe as we grew up in a generation where the parenting or any authority was very harsh, from school to home, we couldn't talk.
Even the
community, as long as you're a child, you couldn't talk. But now those things are changing. And you have seen the Gen Z, they are fearless. Yes.
Excuse me, they are fearless.
Now the alphas are copying them and making it double. But the thing is, we must learn to have open conversations with our children.
And it starts from when they are young.
Yes, so you're building that relationship, as you said, continue to build the relationship. By the time now they are preteens, you know, you're already talking about issues like sex, issues that opposite relationships, as in they're not even a taboo in your family, because you already introduced this topic at 2 years.
Yes.
Yeah, we are having issues where kindergarteners, grade 1, 2, 3, they are having those opposite sex attractions. We are having those issues. But when the child comes and says, me, I like so and so, I like this boy or this girl, you're like, what? Sitaki kusikia hiyo maneno, tabia mbaya. You have not guided. The child does not know.
Yes.
They are just going through a stage. They actually don't know. But you need to guide them as the parent.
Yes.
So that by the time you're getting into teenage, you have such a good relationship with them, an open relationship that they can tell you anything and everything.
So mental health, back to there.
Yes.
How can parents assist their children, especially those who are stressed and they don't understand themselves?
Yeah.
Some of them, they want to drop from school. Yes.
Yeah, and those are serious issues. I've heard of many cases, children running away from home and such things because of stress issues. First and foremost, this parent must understand their own mental health.
Okay.
Because when you understand your own mental health, you are able to see when something is not right with your teen or even a preteen. You are able to see that there has been a change of behavior in a child, and so you can intervene early. And that is so key, because you find that if you leave the house in the morning and you come maybe before they wake up, or you drop them to school, you come later after they have slept, you'll not be able to see, to notice change of behavior. One of the main changes of behavior is in sleeping patterns, in eating patterns, in how they relate with others. Maybe the child used to come and talk they play after school. Now they want to isolate themselves in their room, which is very common with teenagers. They isolate themselves in their rooms, and you may not notice that this teenager is actually going through something. Again, if you have been so absent in the life of your child, from the time they were born up to now teenage, you don't know your child.
You actually don't know your child.
And this is something I would really want to tell the parent, to stop being very defensive. Because one of the things that I face mostly when dealing with children and teenagers is parents being very, very defensive. Very defensive. That they say we have provided everything, we have taken them to the best schools. I don't know what is wrong with this child. They don't even appreciate what you do. Meanwhile, the child is struggling with anxiety, the child is struggling with depression, they are feeling neglected emotionally, and the parent has never even understood. So the first, I saw a quote somewhere, that the first mental health intervention for children is a good relationship with the parents.
Wow.
It is the
Repeat
first
back to the parents.
Yes. The first mental health intervention for your children is being in a good relationship with them as a parent. It's the first mental health intervention. So once
let me ask you just a minute.
Yes.
There.
Yeah.
Most parents, and I think from now a Christian perspective,
Yes.
they rush to the pastor.
Thank you.
Please talk
Thank
about
you.
that, because most people, they
Yes.
don't think about themselves. I
Uh-huh.
handled, I think 1 year ago or 2 years ago, such a case. And at one point, the parent was like, "You're siding with my child." But I'm there trying to tell him, together with the mother, you must listen.
Yes.
Because if we force this child to go back to that school, we'll be called when he has committed suicide.
Exactly.
We must listen.
Yes.
Come through for me there.
Thank you. That is very, very common. What parents do is avoidance. They throw the problem to the pastor.
I love the word. Avoidance.
Avoidance. And that is already a sign that that parent is already so preoccupied with other things that they don't have time for their child. Neither are they willing to drop everything else and say, my child is the most important thing in my life. I can delegate my business, I can delegate everything else, but parenting, you cannot delegate.
Thank you.
You can't. And also, parents, we must understand that parenting has changed over the years. And I thank God, I was hosted by Willie Kenyatta, and he talked about how the parenting has changed over the years. So you cannot parent your children the way you are parented.
Yes.
Impossible. If you are not listened to, the first thing to do is to heal from that trauma.
Okay.
And that's a whole topic. Like, parents need to heal from their childhood trauma that causes them to be triggered when their children speak to them. Because when you haven't dealt with it, for example, when your child speaks to you, you will say they are disrespecting you.
Yes.
But you could just be having your own self-esteem issues that you have not dealt with. You were brought up by parents who didn't listen to you. You were not listened to at all. So you have to learn, teach yourself, and be very intentional to listen to what the child is saying. If you want to know the life of somebody, you enter into their world by listening to what they are saying.
Yes.
Not listening to respond, listening to understand without being judgmental.
Wow.
And I'm telling you, what you're facing is such a serious problem. I face the same. That parents will say, you just handle, yeye ndiye ako na shida. You know, the child at the end, yako na shida, you handle, yeah, please help. But when you listen, you actually realize it's a parent who has a problem. They are too busy. That is very common with teenagers. They don't have time. They don't listen.
They don't listen.
They don't. You just want to give instructions, and we moved long time ago from authoritarian, authoritarian parenting. We moved long time ago. We are now doing intentional parenting. And if your teenage realizes that you don't listen, you have lost them. Because for teenagers, it is all about dialogue and conversation. So when you come and you realize that it's been 3 days since I talked to my teen, I want to find out what's happening. They could be stressed about something. And usually their issues in meaning, mostly it's depression, anxiety, unless maybe they are diagnosed with other issues. But those two are the main. And it is because of relationships, schoolwork.
Yes.
Teens like they identify in a group. So you have seen how they came out.
Yes.
Most of
large
them,
numbers.
Yeah, and they came out because they wanted to belong. Like there's no way my group is doing this, I must belong there.
I must be in
I must
in there.
I must be in there.
Okay.
So when they feel like they're not fitting, that gives them a lot of stress. They identify themselves in groups. You see. So you have to be there so that you guide what kind of groups is my teen identifying with. Because if they feel like they're being left out, they will look for a group, whichever, even if it is a group drinking and such things. As long as they feel that in that group,
Sense of belonging.
there's a sense of belonging, there is acceptance, which is very important. So if your child feels that you don't accept them, you don't even like their friends, they're not going to come to you.
Okay.
They won't come to you.
They won't
And
come to you.
and the anxiety of not belonging to any group can be too much, that they find themselves, they just want to fit themselves in any group, or they isolate themselves now, which now can cause the depression.
Yeah.
You see, so unless you intentionally create time to be with your team, then you will never know, even when they're slipping into anxiety and depression. And the worst thing is that how now they try to cope with the depression. You know, because the depression will make you feel sad all the time. You have no energy. Some of them could be suicidal. I've dealt with many cases of suicidal teens, and some of them could be suicidal. And teens are committing suicide.
Sure.
Yeah, we have seen it. Yeah. What they do is they can get into drugs. Very common. And now when someone now starts, maybe smoking weed is very common. Unfortunately, weed is very also available.
Yeah.
You see, it's so
Even in
available.
schools.
It is very available. And you know what weed does? It takes you into a high. Maybe 30 minutes after taking it, it takes you into a high. So they say they are creative. They say they feel,
High,
they're
up
happy.
there.
It gives you a happy feeling. But then after that, it causes you alone. You fall back into depression. So in order to get into a high, you smoke again. That's how now you get the substance use disorder.
Okay.
That's what now will happen. Because for you to maintain that high, then you have to keep taking regularly. So then the parent will come and say, I don't know what's wrong with children nowadays. Imagine he's smoking weed or she's smoking weed. This is so embarrassing. We are Christians. We have brought up our child in church.
Yes.
Yeah, pastor, please.
Yes.
Can you help us deal with this? You see, and you don't realize that, or you are not even willing to sit down and reflect and see what could have happened. And let me tell you, the pastor is going to help you. Yes, the pastor will pray for you. But at the end of the day, as a parent, you cannot delegate parenting. It is really your personal responsibility to sit down with your child and ask. Let your child tell you where you went wrong.
Sure.
And I think that's another major issue that we need to tell parents. Let your child tell you where you went wrong. What is it they don't like about you? And correct it. Doesn't mean because you're a parent, you are always right.
Yes.
Yeah, we moved from that parenting where we were being told I was number one. Where are you failing?
When you fail.
Where you failed. We moved from that generation where all parents were number one. All of them loved maths. Now you need to allow your children to tell you, this is what I don't like.
Yes.
This is where you are going wrong. And you apologize. When you apologize, you are modeling to your child that they can also apologize.
Yes.
Yeah, that they should. That it is a virtue.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a relational virtue. When you let your children know that today I won't be home the usual time I am at home, I'm meeting a friend. It is accountability. When your teen is going out, They will tell you they are going out. Why? Because you have already modeled their accountability.
Yes.
So when you see that your teen has stopped, they're not friends, they're not eating, they haven't eaten well, like the whole day, 2 days, they're not eating, that change of behavior, when you notice, then you start saying, there's a problem, I need to intervene.
Let me ask you, at what time or at what stage should parents go for a professional counselor? Yes, prayers are okay.
Yes.
But at what point? Because I find we have those shortcuts.
Yes.
Going to the teachers very fast.
Yes.
And one time I saw a case. This boy failed in the exam. And the father was so tough on the son during this open day. I looked at the dad, I looked at the child, I looked at the teacher. I was not able to intervene. I was not able, I didn't have the courage to go and talk to the parents.
Yes.
I felt that this quite disconnect because if I am going to school with those outbursts, there's a problem.
There's a problem.
So at what point should parents go for professional counselor? Yes, for both of them to be counseled and also to attend to this depressed son or daughter. Yeah.
Thank you. That's a good question. When you find that the activities of daily living for your child are being affected, their hygiene, they're staying days on end or showering. Let's say even it has happened for a period of 3 weeks.
Yes.
That they are isolated. They are either eating too much or they are not eating at all.
Okay.
Or they have just gotten into a diet that you can see it's unhealthy.
Yes.
You see, or they are staying awake at night for the last 14 days, 21 days. Don't let it go beyond a month. Not beyond a month. So you will know it was not just something that was passing. It seems like it is staying. So if it's something that has stayed for about 21 days to a month, take your child to a counselor. And I always say that mental health and taking your child to a counselor is an investment, a lifetime investment. No wealth without mental health.
Yes.
So most of us parents, we find that when your child has dropped in performance, you want to address the drop in performance, which is the wrong approach.
Okay.
Because you should address what is the reason for the cause for the drop in performance. So the drop in performance can be a sign of a deeper thing.
Okay.
You see? So instead of reprimanding the child again, punishing, just find out, has the child been dropping?
Okay.
You realize that they did the opening exam, the midterm, end term, and it's dropping, then go and see a therapist. Take your child to a therapist. Because there's a reason why.
Okay.
There's a drop in performance. And one of the main reasons is when there are issues at home.
Okay.
When there are issues at home, domestic violence issues, or the environment is toxic, there were threats happening at home, that directly, it causes a drop in performance.
You brought in something else, a very good term. Sometimes when we are in our workplace, we say, I need a therapist. When you are so stressed, when I think I need some therapy. Look for a friend who will help you. A therapy. How? So even teens, they need a therapist?
Yes, they need. And we are seeing many schools, they're actually sending students to go for therapy. And they have to go back, and I have handled several. They have to go for therapy, and they go back with that report showing that they went through therapy. But unfortunately, what I've realized, some would say 4 sessions, 5 sessions. So they do that within the holidays. When you're opening, you come back with that later. But unfortunately, we find that some parents are still very, let me not use the word ignorant, but they take it lightly.
Okay.
You see, but by the time the school has seen the need for your child to go for therapy, there must be a reason.
Okay.
So we need to demystify going for counseling, going for therapy. If you're sick, if you need to, you have cavity in your teeth, you don't go to see a gynecologist.
Sure.
You go to see a dentist.
Yes.
Yeah, because that's a person who is specialized in handling your teeth. So it's the same thing. That if there are any issues related with mental health, it could be that even your child is not navigating teenagehood smoothly.
Yes.
And if that is not handled, then it means that even in adulthood, they're going to carry forward some issues. Because what happens in our childhood, our teenage, we carry it forward to adulthood. So the school then sees that there's a need. When this child goes for holiday, they need to go for therapy. Even cheating, you want to find out, why does my child cheat?
Cheating.
Yeah. Why were they caught cheating in exam? Why were they caught? Some of them, they are getting attracted to the same sex. And those are issues that can be handled in therapy.
Wow.
You find that in cases of, let's say, domestic violence, where the child witnessed maybe the father assaulting the mother, they might reject. Reject is the word, or repel, or not repel, reject. Or they feel they don't want the male gender.
Yes.
So where are they going to take their hormones? And the hormones are still active.
They are still
so
active,
they may be attracted to the female gender, the same gender.
Yes.
You see. But when you resolve that trauma, then the child is well aligned.
Wow.
You see. So, but now what will happen when, as a parent, you are told, we are suspecting your child, your teen, was found in bed with another girl.
You get mad.
You call intercessors to come and for deliverance.
Deliverance, yeah.
Yeah, because those are demons.
Yes.
So, you see,
Yes.
that's what Christians do.
Yeah.
And you actually don't look inward and see, what part did I play
In this.
you see. And all that this child needs is to heal from the trauma. Yes. And be able to understand their hormones. Be able to understand that what you have seen maybe happening at home does not happen everywhere. You can still have a healthy relationship. Because even those other relationships, they are unhealthy.
Yeah,
Anyway, at the end of the day. You see. So, especially as Christian parents, we always say it's okay to have Jesus and a therapist.
Yes.
And it is not okay to spiritualize everything. And it is true, we pray.
Yes.
And prayer is very important for every Christian.
Yes.
But you cannot neglect your body or the professionals that God has given us. It's God who has given us the wisdom. It's God who has given doctors wisdom.
Yes.
So you can't say you won't go to hospital because you prayed. Or you won't go to see a therapist because you prayed. Yes, because we have Christian therapists. Yeah. And if you come for therapy, if you want me to pray, I'll pray.
Sure.
Because I believe in prayer. If it is not prayer you need, you can come for therapy. You do the psychological bit, you go to your pastor, you do the spiritual bit. Yeah. Because life is interconnected.
Yes.
There's a place for the spiritual.
Yes.
There's a place for the psychological, for the social, for the financial.
Yes.
You see, for the physical. That's why we do physical fitness.
Yes.
You see, because your life is interconnected.
Yeah.
So all the areas of your life, ensure there is no gap.
Wow.
Yeah, the wheel of your life is well balanced.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, those are great insights.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, in conclusion, what would you say about the mental well-being of our teens, and especially in our Kenyan community? Yes.
I would like to say that, let me start by saying there was a research that was done, and it said that 40% of our university students are depressed. 40%. They are depressed. The workload for school depresses them. The issues we've talked about. There's a lot of pressure to try out new things, try out smoking weed, try out fornication. Everyone will come and say they're having sex all over the place. So if you have and that can stress someone whose virtues are purity.
Yes.
You see. And they can have that pressure so much, then they go and fall in, they have the sex, and then now they start getting very depressed about it. It's not even what they wanted. They realize it's not what their friends said it was. So those are the issues that cause depression. So when your children even get to university, that's not the time to drop them. It is the time to enhance the relationship even more.
Okay.
So that you get to understand what are the challenges they're facing. pressure out there is too much.
Okay.
Alcohol is available, weed is available, sex is available, but these are the things that then will destroy them. They start regretting and struggling with shame and guilt after they have tried them.
Sure.
Yeah. And so we have said 40% are stressed. So you want to find out, is my child in the 40? Let's stop this idea of it is those others.
Not
Remember
mine.
in cases of HIV, people used to feel when they can't get HIV, it is those others that can get. But the thing is, you can have your child with a mental health issue, and it doesn't mean that you're a bad parent. It doesn't mean that it cannot be sorted out. It doesn't mean that they cannot live a productive life.
Yeah.
So go out there and seek for help.
So, well, sometimes the mental health issues, from our community perspective, you are mad.
Yes.
And if you are mad,
Yes.
nothing can be done about you. So, just talk about that.
It's actually not true.
It is
There
not true.
are different diagnoses that can be made, and medication can be given. Yeah. So I think so what we are saying is this, that we are demystifying mental health. As you have said, in the previous years, people used to think that you are mad, you are, you have been bewitched. I don't know who did witchcraft on you and all that. But now, those things we have changed. Things
Yes.
have changed. Yes. And there's medication. Proper diagnosis will be done.
Yes.
Proper medication will be given, and we handle issues using the biopsychosocial spiritual model,
Yes.
where you take your medication, you go for psychotherapy, your family and your social circles. Mostly we do family therapy, so that your family can understand how do they support this person with the who has an issue with the mental health, and also prayer.
Yes.
Yes, and also prayer. So as Christians, let's not just use one model. Mostly we will pray, we call people to come to our houses to pray, which is a good thing.
Yes.
But that does not mean that you don't seek professional help. It is God who has enabled the professionals to have the knowledge they have to help in mental health. And again, as we have said, let's not think that it is a bewitchment or it is witchcraft. These are medical issues that can be handled medically, and the person can live profitably. They can live a healthy life.
Yes.
It is just the way someone can be diagnosed with a chronic illness, hypertension, diabetes. They can live a healthy life. They will be able to run their life smoothly as they go for their clinic, as they take their medication regularly. It is the same thing. So we are demystifying mental wellness and creating a lot of mental health awareness. Again, it's good to note that mental health issues, even in the children and even in the teens, is a reality. It is a reality. Let's not think that it's only adults who can actually have mental health issues. And in fact, in order to prevent some of these mental health issues in adults, if we help our children to resolve the issues that they are going through when they are young, as children, as teens, as young adults, by the time they get into adulthood, they'll be very, very healthy mentally. Because you find some of these mental health issues that now adults are diagnosed with, when you look back, the root is childhood traumas, childhood issues that they went through that they have never been able to resolve. So if as parents, we can embrace intentional parenting, know that parenthood is our first responsibility before we go to our jobs and to our businesses, then we can be able to prevent many mental health issues that we are seeing in the children and even in the teens.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you for that wise counsel from you, Counsellor Naomi.
Thank you.
May God bless you so much.
Amen.
My viewers, I'm so grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. May God bless you so much. We love you. Oirimo Mosembi, my name, and shalom. God bless you. Thank you.